Hey guys, it's Hogan here. In this video, I want to show you guys step by step on how to rank your website on the first page of Google and get more traffic by using the power of guest posting. Now, as you guys know, on my channel, I show you guys how to set up and build and also design a website, but I don't really cover how to actually get traffic to your website. So obviously getting traffic to your website is very, very important because without any visitors, then you aren't going to sell anything that you have to offer, right? So one of the most effective ways on getting highly targeted visitors who are ready to purchase what you have to offer is by ranking on Google, because Google is a search engine and people use search engines to find solutions to their problems, to find products or services to solve their problems as well. So if you're ranking on there every single day, there's a consistent amount of people who are searching on Google, your website is there, people can click in, read more about your business, and they can purchase from you. So one of the most effective ways on ranking on Google is by using something called guest posts. So in this video, I want to explain exactly what it is, how it all works, the process, and how you can actually do it for your website as well. And I'm also going to be revealing a case study that we did with Stan Ventures on how we got a website from the bottom of page 1 to the top by using guest posting. So make sure to stick to the very end of the video, which I'll talk a little bit more about the details of that case study. So what is guest posting and how does it work? So guest posting basically means that you write an article and you're publishing that article on someone else's website as a guest. So we are creating content and we're posting on someone else's website, and within that article, we can have a link which links back to our own website. Okay, so that is also known as a backlink. So a link is basically just like, for example, on this website over here, right? As you can see, we can click on carpet cleaning in Melbourne. That's a link. And that's pointing to a website, which is a carpet cleaning website. So that is a backlink, right? So generally when we talk about links, it's sort of like a vote of popularity. If we actually go to Google and we search for carpet cleaning in Melbourne, so this is the example that we're going to be using for this whole tutorial, there are over 160,000 results. So how does Google actually determine, who ranks on the page 1, who ranks on the top, and things like that? So obviously there's quite a few different factors where you look at the on-page factors. For example, they look at the content on your website. Is it relevant to what people are searching for? How long people stay on your website? Is your site title and your headings and also your content optimized? Does the content fulfill the searcher's intent? The competition level of that specific keyword, the location of the business, the whole user experience, for example, the loading times of your website, is it mobile friendly, and things like that. But then there are the off-page factors, which basically means the number of links to your website. So generally, the more links that you have to your website, the higher Google is going to rank you, because Google sees your website as popular, right? So that's the general idea behind it. Now, there are also some, subtle things like, for example, the relevance of the links and the quality of the links, the types of the links, whether it's like a contextual link. So a contextual link basically means that the link is within the content, right? So those are normally actually worth more than links that you get like from your social media profile, from like directories or from your footer section and things like that. So basically how the guest posting works is that you help create content for someone else's website. They are able to sort of optimize that, and also with that content that can bring search engine traffic for their website. It can also provide a unique perspective and also value to their audience on something that maybe they're not too familiar with. So it's sort of like a win-win for both parties, where you sort of get brand recognition, you get a link, they get free content. So generally when you post that content on someone else's website, they are able to monetize however they like. So they can add affiliate links to it. They can, edit the content a little bit. They can also get traffic to the website, and that could lead to people purchasing the services and, using their tools or software or whatever it is that they want to do with it. So basically the guest posting process works like this, right? We find relevant and quality websites. We contact them and ask them, do they accept guest post? So most of them will actually accept them, because I'll show you guys how to actually find ones that do actively accept them. We write the article, or you can hire someone else to write the article, and then they can post the article, and then eventually you get a link back to your website. So in this tutorial, we're just going to focus on 2 easy methods on finding guest posting opportunities for your website. So before we begin, I do also want to say that, guest posting by itself is not going to help rank your websites. You sort of do have to have the whole package, where you have to have great content for your website. You do need to do your keyword research, your competitive analysis, as well as doing your on-page search engine optimization. Now, if you haven't done that yet, then don't worry, I do have a full tutorial which covers that for beginners. I'll leave the link to that video in the description below. I also have a separate video, which is a affiliate marketing website video, which goes through like keyword research, competitive analysis, as well as the on-page SEO part, if you want to follow that one as well. So I'll leave the link to that as well in the description, so you can actually check that out after you finish watching this video. So method number one is going to be the easiest, but I think is also going to be the most effective way to actually get really high quality links from guest posting. So most people actually skip this step and they go on to step number two. But I think using this method, you're able to get really high quality links and also be able to do it really easily. So method number one involves leveraging existing or building new relationships with people. So let's say, for example, you're an affiliate marketing website. What you can actually do is you can reach out to your affiliate manager or the person in charge and simply just ask them, do they accept guest posts? What are their guidelines? Now, this is going to be especially easy if you have made sales with them already and they know that you can create good content, or if they've actually reached out to you in the first place. So now, if you're a local business website, you can easily contact your supplier. Generally, they have a website, they probably have a blog, and it's not going to be too hard for you to ask if you can actually post something on their blog, right? Especially those smaller business type websites. Generally, those websites would have sort of been around for a while. They might have very, very good sort of domain authority, which means that their link is going to be sort of more powerful than like a newer website as well. So that's going to be a really great way to actually get some really nice links. Now, you can also build new relationships. So what I recommend is to actually sort of give first before trying to ask, if you can actually guest post for someone's website. So for example, you can sponsor like local, student associations, give them special discounts and coupons. And then at a later date, you could ask them, okay, can you actually write something for their blog? And most likely they're going to say yes, right? It's going to be the same thing if you're like an online sort of maybe graphic designer or a freelancer. Perhaps give your time for free and maybe ask them for like a review or testimonial in exchange for your services, and then sort of build that relationship. And then over time, you can ask them, can you actually write something for their blog, right? It's going to be the most effective way, because I know that because a lot of people actually reach out to me and they want something, right? They don't want to give anything, but they want help. They want, to write something for your blog without giving anything. So it's also, very important to sort of treat it as like if they were like your friend or something like that. Like if you were, take your friend out to dinner and then next time they will take you out, right? It's the same thing. So I think this is going to be the most effective and best way to get some really nice links. So method number two is to utilize Google search strings. So this is a great and simple way to find thousands of guest posting opportunities for your website. So let's say, for example, you want to do a guest posting campaign for a local carpet cleaning business. What we want to do is we want to find sort of relevant websites related to carpet cleaning, right? It could be something along the lines of home decoration, interior design, something to do with kitchens, maybe a website that it talks about cleaning or anything along those lines. You don't really want to get a link from an irrelevant website, because obviously it's going to be hard for you actually to create that content. It's not going to suit that website, right? And the link is not going to be worth as much. So to actually utilize the strings, what we could do is we could use something like keyword plus write for us, or keyword plus guest post. So I actually find, keyword plus write for us, you're able to find dozens and dozens of opportunities to get started with. So I'll actually start with that. So you can just go to Google and type in like home, decor plus write for us, and you'll be able to find dozens of websites which have the write for us page, and it talks about, home decor and things like that. So you can just open it in a new tab, and what you want to do is sort of want to look through those websites and see if it's actually relevant to your website over here, the carpet cleaning website. And you do want to have a look at their content on their blog and website, because sometimes it might be a little bit scammy and it may not be very high quality. Then maybe you don't want to actually post on there, right? If it looks decent after checking the content and things like that, then what you can actually do is you can sort of look at the guest posting guidelines to see if you can actually create content for the website. So a lot of times each website will have sort of different guidelines, but they're sort of similar as well. A lot of them will need you to actually create 1,000-word content, making sure that the content is also unique as well, so it's not copied or anything like that. You do have images, everything's nicely formatted in like a Google Doc or anything like that. So if you find that you do have a lot of different websites over here, you can also filter it further. Generally, you don't really need to filter it, but you can download a tool called Ubersuggest. It's a Chrome extension, so you can download it and install it, and you can check out the website and can check out the domain authority. Now, generally, the higher domain authority, the better, but not always the case. So sometimes it really depends, and you have to sort of look at the website and other metrics a little bit further. But if you're just starting out, I would just go for anything above 10. You sort of want to start out small and then slowly build up to the more popular websites. And you do want to build up a portfolio of websites which you have guest posted on, so that, when you actually reach out to maybe some of the top blogs in the industry, you can actually show them that you have done, quality guest posts for these websites, and you can show them the type of work that you actually do, right? Because a lot of the really, really top blogs within the industry it's not going to be easy to actually get a link or a post on there, right? Unless you actually have built up your own sort of authority within the niche, then it's going to be a lot easier. So you do want to start off small and work your way up. So I'll also leave some other search strings which you can actually use to find some more guest posting opportunities. But what I do recommend is trying to exhaust the right for us string first. So you can actually change, home decor to like maybe something like home maintenance, or it could be like kitchen, anything we do with home, maybe interior design and anything like that. You can also look deeper into the other pages. And once you do, you'll find dozens of opportunities. You don't really need to use the other ones, to be honest, but you can actually check them out. You may find some hidden gems in those, search strings as well. So once you've actually done that, you can save all your websites on a Google Sheet, and then you can actually reach out to them via email. So in your email, you should include a few things. So for example, you should introduce yourself in 1 to 2 sentences, and then show them, some of the work that you have done and maybe some ideas that you have, or ask them for some suggestions, right? If it's like, for example, you're reaching out to your affiliate manager or someone that you know already, then it's going to be a little bit different. So you can just, straight up, depending on your relationship, hit them up and ask them, do you accept guest posts? Do you have any guidelines or have any ideas on what content you can actually create for them? So generally for the email, you can just send them an email, or sometimes they might have a contact form. A lot of the emails will be found over here, and it could be something like, "Hi John, hope you're well. I'm Hogan from Hogan Chua, and I noticed that you're accepting guest post, and I was wondering if I could contribute." And then you can tell them that you've done some research. Okay, so make sure you actually do the research and try to find topics which are suitable for their blog, but also suitable for your own website, and that you can actually link to your website with, right? So you can include maybe, a few topics that you have, ask them if they have any ideas as well. And then you can also showcase, some of your recent work that you posted on your own website or for other, websites that you've guest posted on. So what you want to do is when you're actually writing the content, you want to look at the guidelines first. Most of the time you'll need to create, a 1,000-word article. It has to be unique. So it can't be like a duplicate content. You can't copy content and things like that. That's really important for search engines as well, because if you are creating duplicate content, Google isn't going to sort of index the website, right? And that's not good. So you don't want that, right? If they don't index the website, and probably the link juice is not going to pass through to your website. So you want to create quality content, and I recommend using Google Docs. It's just easier for everyone. You can just share it and you can edit it. And a lot of them will also ask you to add some high quality images. For your images, you can actually use something called Unsplash, where it's sort of like a website where you can use the images and you don't need to credit anyone. You can also use something called Pexels. Hopefully that's how you pronounce it. And if you want some more specific images, then you probably need to pay for it, and you can use Adobe Stock for that, right? So once you've actually created the content, then you can actually send it to them and they'll review it. Sometimes they may edit it depending on, how strict they are and things like that. Normally you only have one link to your website. Sometimes it's just a bio link. So it just links to your homepage or things like that. But most of the time you can actually have a link. So for example, this is the title and this is the content over here. So for example, a sentence might be like, "I'm going to share with you a special technique used by professional carpet cleaning companies. Now, I want to rank for the keyword carpet cleaning in Melbourne," right? Now, if I can't fit carpet cleaning Melbourne, then I'm not going to, try and just put that in. Otherwise, it's just going to sound unnatural and sort of spammy. Now, sometimes, websites will accept that, but sometimes they won't. So let's say, for example, we're posting on a more stricter website, then I'll probably just put the link as carpet cleaning, right? So just link that up, for example, over here, and then you just put in your link, right? Copy it like that and go like that, go over here and then paste that in and apply, something like that, right? So that's linking back to your website. Okay, so generally you'll be allowed one link to your website, and you can have probably multiple links to external resources if you have any. For example, it might be like an infographic or maybe like a quote or some kind of statistic. Then you can link to that as well, but let them know. And you can also link to their internal pages, right? So a lot of them will have, let's say, maybe like related articles, which you can actually link to as well. So this shows that you really care about the content that you actually post. So for example, if we go and click into here, right? Now, if it's something like, let's say for example, you are talking about, water quality and things like that, if you can, then you can actually link it to within their website and articles on their website, right? So this is basically going to help their sort of on-page optimization. Doesn't really help you too much, but it shows that you care, right? So if we go back over here, so let's say for example, as suggested by Jane, you can use the XY method and you can link it within their website. Okay, so that's the basics of it, and make sure to check out the guidelines of their website. Now you can also hire writers if you want. So for example, you can hire people on Fiverr, Upwork, Freelancer, any website like that. Now generally, if you pay for like a high quality article, it's going to be around $50 for maybe like 1,000-word article, right? So top writers typically charge between 2 cents and 7 cents per word. So if it's like a maybe like 1,000-word article at 5 cents, then it's going to be $50 US. So what I want to talk about now is what's next. So what you want to do is when you actually send them your completed sort of article, you want to also send in that email, ask them, when do you expect the article to be posted? Sometimes it can be a few days, but it's best to ask them. Sometimes if it's a more popular blog, it can take, up to even a few months. So make sure to keep that in mind. So you can ask them first, and then, once it actually passes the date, then you can actually follow up with an email. So besides that, what results can you actually expect from doing a few guest posts for your website? So the results is really going to be dependent on a few factors. So for example, your competition, your current website, and your content. Is your page optimized? The domain authority of the website you received your link from, and sort of a lot more factors and things like that. So what I do want to share with you guys is a case study that we did recently with Stan Ventures for a sort of local business website. We basically did a domain authority link 30, DA40, and a DA50 link for a small business website to one of the pages. So I wasn't initially going to share with you guys the actual link, but I do want to show you guys what you can sort of expect with it and what type of quality that you should have for your current website when you're actually doing your guest post and things like that. So basically, we are linking to sort of like a service page, right? So this one is shock absorber and struts replacement. So the keyword that we actually targeted was shock absorber prices and shock absorber price. So it's basically like the same keyword, just like a variation of it. Now, for that specific keyword, it was ranking, I think, on 9 or 10. Okay, so I think it's over like a few months ago. If we go over here, we can see the rankings for shock absorber price. It was ranking, I think, we did it around March or something like that. So it was around 10, and then it moved up to, I think, 2 or 1. So same thing for shock absorber prices over here. Click over here, and you can actually see the rank improvements. So we did the link around March, something like that. I can't really remember, but it moved up quite a lot. So if we actually go and check out the incognito mode, we can type in shock absorber prices. You can see it's like ranking on number 1. Previously, it was like 9 or 8 or 10. and also same thing with prices. I think that's number 2, right? So AutoGuru has a snippet on top, but we're ranking just below that. So you can check out this website over here. It's also really important that for your website that it does match the searcher's intent. So this page was actually ranking on the first page of Google, just on the bottom, but it was already ranking there. So I thought, this page didn't have any links to it. So I thought, 3 links might actually boost up the ranking, and it did. So the content is quite decent, and the page looks okay as well. You've also got, decent Google rating as well, which also helps. So if you're building like a local website, try to make sure that you are thinking of the customer when they come to your website. Once people actually see, the Google rating and see that you have a good reputation, then normally they stick around longer. That's going to improve your sort of time on the website. And also it provides, great user experience. So people can actually click on it and it scrolls down to each of the different sections. And it also has a button here where you can click on the price guide. So when you're actually targeting the sort of keyword, you really have to make sure that it answers the question that people has, right? And then once you actually have the guest posting links, that's going to help boost your website up, in the search results. So in terms of the results over here, so these ones were quite decent. Now, obviously it's not that surprising, mainly because I know that guest posting really helps, but I think a lot of people don't do it, mainly because it does take quite a while. That is why I actually partnered up with Stan Ventures to actually get those guest posts done, because they basically handle everything from the outreach and, the content and, posting on the website and things like that, because they do have a sort of small team that does outreach daily, and they reach out to different websites within different niches, and they built up a big sort of database that they can actually post on. So, looking at some of the other keywords, they also increased as well. So not just the keyword that we targeted, but also other keywords, they also jumped up in the rankings as well. So sometimes when you are, getting a few links, it's going to help improve your sort of overall link profile, and it's going to help maybe other pages on your website as well. So for this website, we did, 3 links, because this page was already ranking on the bottom. It didn't really need that many links, and the competition isn't that high, but the keyword is decent. It does have some decent, commercial intent where people are looking for the price, and then people want to actually get that service. So it's really important, that you have good quality content before you actually, and good on-page optimization before you actually get the guest posting done. Now, if you do want to actually get the guest post by Stan Ventures, I do have a link below. So I actually partnered up with them to share with you guys a 50% discount. So you can actually get this special trial offer. You can check out the link in the description, and you can scroll down and you can basically purchase a DA50 link for around $200. And basically they actually supply the articles and the links as well. So let's say, for example, you do want to purchase it, you can click on buy now and you can go ahead and purchase that. So once you actually purchase it, what I do actually recommend is I'm just going to sign in and show you guys, sort of like the dashboard area and, my personal recommendations in actually getting the links from Stan Ventures. So I'm going to sign in for a second, and over here we can click on the services, right? So you can also purchase the services from here as well. Click on the blogger outreach and you can purchase from here, right? Once you actually purchased it, you can go to the orders. Okay, so let's say, for example, we click into that order. So what I do recommend is actually asking them if you can actually review the content before posting it, because sometimes you do need to tweak it a little bit. Now, the content is okay, but it's not like going to be like tier 1 content that they create for you, right? If you have any problems with it, then what I recommend is probably submitting your own content, and they'll help you find the sort of websites to post on. And you can also ask to review the link before posting. So those are the 2 things that I recommend. So you can also check out the sample links as well on that page. So let's go back over here. You can also enter an email to get some sample links. So I'm not going to share with you guys the exact links I got, but these are some of the sample websites that, we got the links from. Motoverso.com, automobiles review. I'll leave the links in the description so you can actually check them out yourself. So these are quite decent websites over here. Let's check out the Uber Suggest. So this one's domain authority of 55. So a lot of these websites, they are, quite decent websites, and they're websites that probably I wouldn't have found anyway. So that's pretty much it for this tutorial. So before guest posting, you have to make sure that the on-page content, everything's good to go, right? You also have to make sure that the content on your website is really good, because ultimately what you want to do is you want to get some traffic first and get some traction for your website. And then over time, people will sort of like your content. They'll come back to your website and share your content naturally. And getting content, linked to naturally is always going to beat you trying to get guest posts done, right? So yeah, that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, drop it in the comment section below, and see you guys in the next video.